No Josh again. I guess we're gonna be talking some stuff and have a short episode. At least I'm able to record. Yay, technical issues. Cue the music. Hello everybody, it's me Bigpod again with my NASA shirt and no Josh once again. Well, soon there probably will be no me again, so we're gonna have some. Again, I'm gonna force you to do a solo episode. I'll be doing some stuff, so I'll be gone for a while. But I'll be recording. Well, not recording only once, so you're gonna get good episodes again. So they don't have anything interesting to talk about, but we're still gonna make an episode. So let's get into it. First off, Satya Nadella has issued a shocking warning to companies using AI. Essentially, he said that that any company using AI basically pays the frontier labs or the labs that make models and also host them twice for each use, because they pay for the tokens and they pay for with the data they hand over in the process of using AI. And I would go as far as to say that many people pay 3 times. Data they send, token use, and the data they generated before AI was a thing and they put online. That's the third use. Now, now it's interesting. I have when I hear about things like Cursor. If you know what Cursor is basically a VS Code fork that acts as basically an Cloud code, and they made models, something called Composer, based on usage patterns of their users, their clients. Because I believe Cursor is paid, which means, users paid them for the use of the client, and then pay them with their data on how they use it. And the most funny part, they were using things like, they were not even using models by Cursor team, because Cursor up until recently didn't really have models besides, again, Composer, and now being owned by SpaceX AI means they literally have Grok, and they are in the same company as the guys making Grok. I believe they are owned by who owns Cursor? Okay, so no, that I'm incorrect. It was announced that SpaceX will acquire Cursor for 60 billion, apparently. Place it under SpaceX AI as a subsidiary. So that's why it was announced. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it was announced, just didn't get out of it yet. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, that's the big problem of AI currently, and well, this was all posted in a blog post Satya made, so should be down in the description, as well as with our source article of TechCrunch. The problem is that Adela pointed out that that model makers can have it both ways. It is hypocritical for them to freely train on the world's data while restricting others from doing the same with their models. What he's alluding to is model makers trying to prevent you and sometimes even blocking your accounts if you try to do something called distilling. Distilling is essentially a way you can make your model based on someone else's model, based on outputs of someone else's model. And there are ways to detect whether you are distilling or not. And that's what companies like Anthropic, OpenAI have been doing. And yeah, Nadella had also had a solution apparently, and he wants companies to retain ownership. So he's urging them to build their own proprietary learning environments on the cloud. He also wants them to build something called orchestration layers, essentially ways to easily switch between models from different providers rather than being locked into one, which, by the way, I agree. Tools like AI gateways that let companies do exactly that have become increasingly popular. Something like Vercel's AI Gateway, I believe it's called. Vercel AI Gateway. Something like Open Router. That kind of thing are very popular now. But yeah, like, while, how to say this? Satya Nadella isn't wrong, but remember, one of his company's biggest things is cloud. So, yeah. Cloud learning environment means, hey, build on cloud, build on cloud, build on Azure. And there are several other technologies that could be in play for this. But yeah, this is an interesting topic. I think this should be discussed more because of what these companies do with our data. They essentially have us give them data and give us money along with the data. Then in return, in 6 months, we get a bigger model that we have to give most likely more money and same amount of data to even use. That's a big problem. Once again, the source I found and the original article will be down in the description. Now let's go and look at more and more fun topics, maybe. But we're gonna stay in the world of AI. At least partially, because we're gonna talk about Apple versus OpenAI, the lawsuit. Well, apparently things are getting out of control, and apparently Apple is currently suing OpenAI, alleging trade secret theft, and that scheme was at every level. Northern California federal court lawsuit, trade secret theft. AI lab took Apple's intellectual property in order to develop its own consumer hardware. Wait, what? Huh? It's shocking reversal for the two companies, which is into high-profile partnership in 2024. But wait, what? Wait. So, OpenAI is trying to make its own hardware. Maybe that makes sense on a level of making its own servers and its own compute boxes, because that's a good thing to have at that point. But anything more than that, I don't see. What will they make a phone or a laptop? That doesn't make sense. So, the lawsuit was on Friday. Federal Court, North California, Artificial Intelligence Lab took the iPhone maker's intellectual property in order to develop its own consumer hardware. Consumer hardware. Okay, it's not servers. its phones, laptops, tablets. Wait, what? That's something new. That's something weird. Um, this much is clear, however, at every level, from members of its technical staff to its chief hardware officer, and in coordination with business partners, OpenAI have been stealing Apple's trade secrets and confidential information, according to the legal filing. Uh, Once again, they have gone into a partnership in 2024, but they have been fairly chilly and weird at some points, and apparently last year OpenAI announced hardware industry products and hired. Oh, it bought a startup, Aya Products, for 6.4 billion. The startup was founded by, or at least connected to, Johnny Ive, one of Apple's foremost former designers. And now that makes more sense. Now that why Apple is using Gemini and not OpenAI GPT like it was using initially a couple of years ago. There are also several other people who allegedly, according to Apple, went to OpenAI and directed, and apparently went as far as to direct Apple employees to share Apple secrets as part of interviewing process. So, specifically, what you're talking about, Apple's former vice president, Tang Tan, who is also named as defendant in the suit. Whoa, now that is getting interesting. He has directed job candidates still working for Apple to bring actual parts from Apple to their interviews for show and tell sessions, in which he and his team at OpenAI can elicit still more Apple confidential data, information. Apple said in the filing. And that they actually coach them on how to essentially exfiltrate hardware from Apple and bring them to OpenAI. OpenAI said that they have no interest in other companies' trade secrets. And Aya Products, the subsidiary OpenAI bought, is also named in the lawsuit. It is important to know, this is why no, OpenAI hasn't actually announced any hardware products, but apparently, according to Sam Altman, there was a first prototype in November. And this could also hit OpenAI if they actually go for the IPO, which could be a problem. Apple is seeking damages, injunctions, in order to force OpenAI to stop using its trade secrets. Interesting. Now, in other news, who knew phone shipments are down? Which means phone sales are down. Well, apparently it's a bit more nuanced than that, but global smartphone shipments fell 11% in the second quarter to the lowest level for the period since 2013, as mostly because of the prolonged memory chip shortage, driving prices up and therefore hurting the demand, according to early estimates from Counterpoint Research. Now the only seller, only manufacturer of phones who has seen a 3% rise was Apple, taking its global market share to a record 20% in the quarter, mostly on the resilience of demand and its unchanging prices. But realistically, those prices will go up and up and up very soon because, that's the reality. It's gonna happen. It happened to the laptop. It's happened to the tablets, I believe. Happened to the Mac Mini. Like even MacBook Neo, which was priced, or at least which was released during the actual chip shortage, had a price increase of 100. Now, our final news topic for this short episode will be again AI driven, with Intel announcing 5.7 billion AI driven capital investment in Ireland. So Intel has manufacturing facilities, manufacturing campuses all over the world, with in US, in Ireland, and I believe few other places. So there are like production capabilities all around the world by Intel. And in this case, we're specifically talking about their facility in Lake Sleep, which is outside of Dublin. I'm sorry to all Irelanders, all people of Ireland, if I butcher that city's name. This $5 billion investment should upgrade and maximize capacity at its facility. This facility currently produces Intel 3 silicon wafer. So Intel 3 is, I believe, size of the lithography. So that would be, I believe, 3 angstrom. But I'm not sure. So it's essentially the really small ones. And Intel said that this is the most advanced semiconductor manufacturing facility of its kind in Europe. It will also link other factories inside this campus to this facility, which is Intel's European manufacturing base, as well as advanced research and development. Wait, what? What did you say? Oh, it will also link the facility to other factories at the campus. Oh, this investment will link the facility to other factories at the campus. It will also increase Intel's European manufacturing base, as well as make advanced research and development and at this facility, and retain staff that is already employed there. This was said by Naga Chandrasekaran. Yeah, I butchered that name. Executive Vice President of Intel Foundry. Intel is one of the key multinationals in Ireland's foreign investment-focused economy, having already invested multiples of tens of billions in countries since end of 1980s, more than half of which was spent between 2019 and 2023, so during the pandemic, on the fabrication facility, double developer capacity. So this will allow them to have help delivering, especially for European markets, but overall, like general markets, next generation Intel Xeon and current generation Intel Xeon 6 processors. Because there is a high demand for servers. Well, of course, in this AI-driven economy where server space is the most important thing, because you need to place somewhere those GPUs. And okay, this looks better. And yeah, that's why all of this is like actually good thing for Europe and Ireland and generally the world. More investment into server CPU manufacturing and other types of manufacturing capabilities that are other semiconductor manufacturing capabilities is good thing for us, because there are several things that need to be built, and this kind of facility will be able to build. This doesn't include memory chips, unfortunately, as far as I know, because this is too novel of an lithography. But there are still bits of something like HBM chips that this could take care of. Like this could at least a bit relieve the CPU manufacturing capability. So CPU and GPU manufacturing capability, which will relieve the already stressed capabilities that are around, very limited capacity. This was also by Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin, also said that this latest investment by Intel is a powerful vote in confidence in Ireland and its position as location for advanced manufacturing. Pretty nice. So that covers all my things I wanted to say today. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. All the links to the different news topics will be down in the description or in the voice or in the notes. You can check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/@bigpod and Josh at youtube.com/@tenlij. We have a No Tax Allowed Discord. You can check it out. Should be down or in notes. We also have a Matrix channel or Matrix server. You can join. You can join a server or join a bunch of channels. I think I have one that is like usable by public. You can join us there. Again, notes, description. What else? Oh yeah, we also have a Patreon. www.patreon.com/notaxallowed, I think, which will get you access to our premium feed, and whenever we have some pre-show, it's also accessible there. And premium feed gets you ability to listen to our podcast at highest quality bitrate, which means highest quality. So it also just helps help our podcast grow, and maybe we will be able to host the podcast completely on our infrastructure instead of relying on clouds. Now, thank you guys for listening. I know this one was short, but I'll see you next time. Goodbye.